I'm Sandra Lyne, and I'm here to help you unleash your true leadership potential. A big part of that is helping you remain anchored and centered. You'll hear me saying this a lot. Within your own self, not being pulled in all different directions and not being pushed in different directions, not being stirred up and have simmering things going on, not allowing overwhelm to get too strong and heavy. One of the things about stress is that it does compound. Stress management and becoming resilient, which is not my favorite word at all, but that's for another day. But stress does build up, and it builds up chemically within your system. It's why emotions get triggered so easily and quickly, and anxiety and overthinking and overanalyzing and over making sure that everything's okay. It's because there's residual chemistry going on in your body physically. And deeper than that still, it's energetic. Everything starts with the energy that underlies the feelings, the situations that cause stress. And energy, when you become stressed, becomes tight, it becomes overactive and moving and does different things in your body that feel like strong sensations. Sometimes you have an urge to just run away, or sometimes you can be held tight into one place, not being able to move. Sometimes it makes your brain a little bit fuzzy and you can't think quite straight. Obviously, decision-making is impacted by the amounts of stress that you feel. And so, because stress is compounding, one helpful thing is to learn how to let go of residual stress. There's no way that in your life you're going to get rid of challenges that come your way. And especially in your working world, there are always going to be new stress factors, new things that impact on how you run your team, how you run your day. Stress isn't anything that's bad either. It's an indicator for us. The onset of stress and being so aware of that you can let it help guide you is an incredibly important thing. The only thing about stress that isn't good is that it does get caught up in your system, in your body, in your chemistry, in your mind, and in the energy that underlies all of that. That means that there's a little bit of simmering so that when the next stress factor comes along, the simmering is triggered. And the next one that comes, it's triggered more easily. And all of that's building up. And so the triggers have more impact more quickly. Sometimes when they needn't. Some things aren't even stressful, but just because of that residue that's lying there, sometimes the smallest thing can feel very stressful. And I'm sure you know that feeling. So, in order to help you not have that compounding effect, there are a few things to learn. One of those is learning how to deal with stress, the actuality of it, but also what happens inside of you in response to stress. Like where does that impact go inside of you? Because all of that is what impacts your ability to lead from your inner authority, which is our aim here. My aim is to help you lead with your inner authority and inner knowing. And stress can layer up over that and hide it away. It is never not there, but it becomes hidden. So learn to manage stress in the moment. And that's something you'll learn with me. And what I want to help you with today is, so, all right, I've had a stressful week, month, year, decade. What do I do to start easing that residual stress so that I am not so easily triggered again? I'm not so easily stressed. The key to, I can even feel that, the key to releasing that residue is first of all to know that it's there. And you can only know that by becoming more aware of what you feel inside you. Don't hide away from your emotions. When you feel an emotion that isn't one of joy and delight, it's an indicator that something isn't quite right for you. Maybe in a situation, but also maybe just within you. Maybe it's just an indicator of some of this residue sitting there. So feel that emotion or feeling. And even underneath the kind of emotional feeling of that is the sensation that underlies that in your physical body. Some people feel emotions as a tightness. Some feel a tightness in the muscles, in heart, in your belly. Some feel it as heat, also in any one of those places. Some feel it as a tingling, like maybe your fingers might start tingling. Some might feel it as like a stirring of something inside you that you don't even really know what it's about. But get to know those things. And when you feel those, whether it's a physical sensation, which is the more you get to know about the physical sensations, the more easily you're able to manage the emotional response, but that's also for another day. So whether you're feeling the emotion of stress or the physical sensation, recognize that and acknowledge it, not as anything but what it is. So don't try and think that, oh, I'm feeling terrible, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxious. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about trying to label what the sensation is either. I'm using tingling or heat or tightness simply as pointers to what you may feel. You may feel something completely different. Don't try and label any of those things because that only holds something in place that may not even be accurate. So rather just recognize the feeling, and it might be, oh, there's that feeling again. Maybe it's the first time you're feeling it, but maybe it's again. And then allow yourself to be with that feeling. Now, when you have time to do this on your own, it's a very good opportunity to let that feeling move and do what it will do, especially if you are in a safe space and you can shout or cry or whatever that feeling leads you towards that is really moving the energy of the stress. Because all that this is, either the emotional feeling or the physical feeling, is energy inside you that's trying to move. Emotions are energy in motion. Sensations in your body is energy moving in some way, even if it's a restricted way. It's like trying to move to get out or ease or open, all kinds of things. So when you have the time and space to do this on your own and you can sit quietly with that feeling, then do that. Don't try and do anything more than just be with that feeling. As you acknowledge and be with it, that will enable it to move on its own. And that will allow it to move through you and from you. And when you don't have the time and space to do that in a considered and measured and aware and maybe just releasing way, when you're in the middle of something, it may be a conversation that's starting to trigger something for you. It may be an email you're reading or a report you're reading that could trigger something, or something you remember that you need to remember to do or get done or hand to someone to do. Doesn't matter what the trigger is. In the moment, the more aware you become of this before you become anxious and overthinking and worried, or you feel bad and anxious, the more you are becoming aware of this, you will feel the physical sensation. And when you start recognizing those, then you can have a conversation with someone, completely focused with them and present with them, and also allowing that feeling to just be there. Just an acknowledgement of, oh, there's that again. You don't have to do anything with it. Simply acknowledging and knowing it's there will stop it from becoming trapped and overheated and anxious and more stressful. So those are two things that you can do to start easing the residue of stress. In a time and space when you are able to do so more freely, allow that energy to move. And sometimes it is actual movement of your body that's needed. You might go for a run, or you might dance, or you might jump up and down, or stamp your feet, or hit your fist against your hand. Please don't hit your fist against a wall, even if that's what it wants to do. Find something soft. It's the movement that's needed. It's not the impact, it's the movement, because the movement will clear that residue. And then the second thing is, when you are in a potentially stressful or actually stressful situation, and you feel this bubbling in whatever way that you do, simply acknowledge it. Don't try and squish it down. Because when you start learning to live and move with these feelings as you are in the presence of someone or something, that is part of your leadership potential right there, because it's guiding you and telling you something. All right, those two things. Learn how to release the energy of stress, the residual stress especially, in a time and place when you have the space to do that safely, and in the moment of simply being aware. Thank you for being here with me. Do let me know if any of this resonates with you, and if it doesn't. And do let me know if there's any way that I can help you more with this. Thank you.